All right, let's try and wrap it all up now. Let's try and determine for you what your personal back pain blind spot is most likely to be. Some of you will have one. Some of you will have two. Some of you will have all three. Having one or two or three has no indication on how long it's going to take to resolve. So know that. You'd think one would be easier than two. It's not like that. And let's face it doesn't matter how long it takes for you to get better, to get improved, as long as there's a strategy that's directed to what the actual issue is, it's going to happen faster than not knowing in the first place and throwing a lot of time, energy, and money at a solution that was never treating the real problem. So let's recap. We talked about three big ones: force mismanagement, mental rigidity, emotional dysregulation. Okay. I want you to go back over those and let's talk about how you might really start to know which one you're most blinded by and therefore where you're going to get most leverage by focusing your efforts first. If it's a force mismanagement issue in your spine, I want you to think about, does the pain change when you alter your stance, your foot position, or how you move? That would be a good indicator that it's a force mismanagement issue. Does repetition provoke pain more than effort? Meaning, if you keep doing the same movement over and over, is that when you start to notice an escalation of pain? Or is it when you do a high intensity, you feel it? Repetition would be the key, that it's a mismanagement issue. Does movement feel asymmetrical or restricted? Can you feel you're not moving freely? That would be a good indicator. If it's more of an emotional dysregulation or emotional self-regulation is suboptimal, it would be more these sorts of things. Does your pain increase during stress or when you're under high emotional load? Does calm or connection reduce your symptoms? Do you feel constantly vigilant or pressured? That could be an indicator that look at your internal state would be a great place to start. Let's look at mindset. I'm going to call them beliefs, fixed beliefs. Do certain diagnoses or beliefs increase your fear? Does certainty about damage make movements harder? Is it what you're thinking about how you're moving that's creating your pain more than the actual movement? Does reassurance soften your symptoms? That would be a good indicator that it's how you're thinking about it that's affecting you in the movement rather than the actual force mismanagement. So probably I would write 1, 2, or 3, put them in order if you can. If you can't, if they feel like they're all on the table equally, that's okay. That's awareness, that's clarity. That's what we're chasing. Most people will fall into these 3 patterns. 1 primary blind spot, 2 interacting blind spots. You might have a force mismanagement issue and fear or stress or beliefs about that. In chronic cases, I would say all 3 are on the table. And like I've said, that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your outcome or your time to heal. It's just an awareness. I would still say try and lean in the direction of the one that you feel is most relevant for you based on what we've explored so far. No pattern is wrong. Having the clarity is where we get the true power. So basically, if changing how you move changes pain, think force. If changing how you feel affects the pain, think emotional regulation. If changing what you believe affects the pain, think mindset flexibility or belief work. What matters is not fixing everything at once. It's eventually dissolving what's most of a handbrake. And like I've said before, sometimes it doesn't mean you need to do anything except become aware. Basically, we're looking to reduce provocation of tissue by learning to move a bit differently. We're trying to increase our feelings of safety, and we're trying to think in a less threatening way about our back pain. If you can achieve all those three, your prognosis is amazing. And that is what I try and do with people every day in clinic. And that is what the Bulletproof Backs method is all about. Not about core control, not about glute activation, not about stretching a hip flexor. They are just surface level musculoskeletal patches that might work for someone who's had pain for a week, or, they might give you temporary fixes. But if you're in this cycle that I'm talking about, we just need to take a different approach. When you target the correct issue, there's less effort involved, there's more gains, and it's faster. Think about that for a minute. Less effort, because you're not trying to pull 100 switches and fix 100 things all at once. It's focused and it's leveraged on the core restrictor. There's clarity, certainty about where you need to be flowing your attention and your energy. And even those few little things should inspire a little bit of hope for you. It's certainly what I see in the clinic. Instead of seeing multiple therapists spending so much money on things that are just treating and patching this physical body, people start to become aware of how they think, how they feel, and they start to play with some altered movements. So much easier, so much cheaper. Clarity is not the end. We all know that, but we know clarity helps you feel a bit safer. And with that clarity, it's the beginning of some effective change, which is what you're all seeking, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So the key takeaway, I'd love you to think about yourself as not broken. I'd love you to think that you're not failing. I would like you to remove all shame, all guilt. You are where you are, and where you are is exactly where you need to be. Perhaps you were misinformed. Perhaps you just didn't know what you didn't know. How? How could we? How can we know things we don't know? So remove all that stuff and just remind yourself that you know now why your pain keeps looping. It's trying to protect you. You know which blind spots apply to you. And you actually now have a clear path about where you need to be investing your time and energy. And I hope those three things at least help you breathe a bit deeper, help you feel a bit more empowered on this journey. And obviously, now that you know what you know, obviously, my 6-week program or private coaching or YouTube channel with all the content on there, my book, mini courses, 6-week course would be the next logical step, or private coaching if that's something within your budget. The main thing I want you to breathe into is that hopefully now you feel like a door's opened, that it's not a big, black, dark hole that you can't get out of, because you can. You just didn't know how. And everyone's journey is going to be different. Everyone's time frames are going to be different. But we want to start to explore possibilities. And with that, I applaud you for staying to the end. It is my sincerest intent that you know you have what it takes to move through this situation. You may need to lean on people. You may need to go to the right people, get the right guidance, but always run it via your internal sense of spidey senses. Does this feel right for me? Is this true for me? You'll get there. Great love to you. I completely admire anyone on this journey. I get emotional about it every time I see someone move through it. I don't know why. I think it's just something that's been placed in my heart. It's my particular little bubble in the world to burst. I see so much pain, so much suffering, so much surgery, so much wasted money, when the solutions can be quite simple. So if this has been of service to you, please share it. And I hope you find the benefit, the ease, the peace that you're looking for.